This is a topic that I'm so passionate about and something that I moved through for many years. And I find myself talking about it so much that I spoke to my friend Anna from the Relating Academy, and I was like, let's get this information as far and as wide as we can so that women at this point in this course can get more empowered with a few easy tools that you can add into your life every day to help you feel empowered and get more in control with your body, with your life, and the decisions that you're making. But I suppose also just to regain the relationship that you have with yourself. Okay, so button, there we go. So these are going to be 4 critical shifts to help you balance your hormones, reset your guts, clear your skin, and really start to tap into that energy that you need to have in your daily life. And even if you've tried everything and nothing has worked so far, I want you to know that you can 100% get the life that you dream of. Your body is so intelligent and is constantly working for you, and it's completely normal to fall out of balance sometimes. So who's this for? So if you're feeling disconnected from your body, I just want to minimize you guys. If you're feeling disconnected from your body, you've tried doctors, pills, Googles, but you're losing hope. You know you deserve to live a supercharged and power life, yet you just don't know how to get there yet. So what we're going to cover this evening are the hidden causes behind persistent weight gain, breakouts, and how to overcome them, how to heal what the doctors haven't been able to help you figure out, and how to stop draining your bank account, and why everything you've tried so far hasn't worked for you while it seems to be working for the others around you, how to be more confident than ever before and become the most magnetic woman in the room, and the step-by-step, easy-to-follow process or this blueprint to clearing up your skin, feeling lighter, and loving who you see in the mirror. So my promise to you today is that 100% you're going to create an incredible relationship with your body and know exactly what to do to feel and look your best. And at the end of the webinar, I'm going to share my exact morning routine that fuels my day physically and mentally. 100%, it's what's given me so much confidence, gets me to peak state every day. And as much as they seem like simple steps, if you implement them for at least like 21 days, you can contact me and you'll be like, Jenna, that absolutely changed my life. And then at the end, if you resonate with me and the things that I talk about, you'll get an invitation to work together. You'll be able to click the link, book into my calendar, have a free call to continue the conversation. Okay, so does this sound like you? Do you deeply desire to understand your body and your cycle and how to best be there for yourself? Are you really ready to take radical responsibility and fully commit to yourself? And is there a deep-seated fear that your symptoms will persist forever? I know I definitely didn't think that there was going to be light in my tunnel, and now it's completely bright. So the big question is, are you secretly scared that you're never going to reach your full potential because your health and lack of energy are getting in the way? Okay, so a little bit about me. I just put some brief little points here. So for the last, I'd say over 10 years, I studied different movement modalities, and that really helped me to integrate this deep relationship with myself. I studied and integrated regenerative cellular regeneration and integrative health. And same as you, Ash, I was on the pill for quite a long time. I was put onto it at a young age for having an irregular period, having a few pimples, and then had a bit of like a pap smear scare with an irregular cell. And I started questioning everything that I was putting in my body. So I decided to stop the contraception pill. And after a month or two, I completely lost my period, got all this adult acne, my hair was falling out. I picked up this interesting like cortisol weight gain around my waist, and I panicked. It was at like the peak of my yoga teaching. I was in Sardinia, in this beautiful island in Italy, and here I was feeling really insecure with my skin. I'd always had an easy body, and I was just like wanting to hide away in a hole. And any doctor that I went to was like, "Your bloods are fine. We can't find anything wrong with you. Maybe take Reacutan, or take Reacutan and go back on the contraception pill." And I was like, thank God I loved going in the sun. So I didn't take Reacutan, and I didn't understand why taking something for contraception, which isn't, I wasn't in a relationship at the time, would be the answer for what I was going through. So I started searching high and low. I just felt so disconnected from my body, and there were no answers anywhere. I got misdiagnoses like PCOS, endometriosis, all these things. Any doctor I went to, I'm sure as much as they cared, just left me feeling completely in fear and misunderstood. So I traveled to Bali and I studied something called living mucus free or cellular regeneration. And I'd say I just went on a whole journey of learning and unlearning, removing so many things from my everyday life and my diet. And I suppose I just went through like a deep healing process of getting comfortable being uncomfortable, releasing stimulants like coffee and salt and table sugar and processed foods and sometimes even cooked food. Um, and I suppose then that helped me to really almost feel like a reset in my body and my life. And I got to look at everything all together emotionally, physically, and yeah, I just got a new way of looking at my life. And I understood that everything I'm putting in my body and the energy that I'm putting it into my body with 100% has an impact on everything in my life. I mean, I did all woo woo stuff. I went to Malta. I did some womb healing. Like, I was praying to get my period back. I was praying to get connected to my body again. I couldn't believe when some of my friends were like wishing their periods away. And then I suppose I remembered this incredible and divine intelligence of my body, of the bodies that you all have, and that they're constantly working for you if you allow them to. And I just have recognized that I just love helping other women to live their most abundant and healthy lives. And I suppose the top pillar for me is like feeling absolutely congruent. And I realized that self love, as much as it came last for me, at the end of my journey, it's definitely the most important pillar. Because if we're not doing things from a place of self love, um, I don't really feel that everything completely lands, although I'm sure it still has the ability to help us. So this wasn't even at the worst of my um, acne, and I can't believe sometimes that I'm showing these pictures, but it means so much to me to help and that you know that you can 100% heal whatever it is that you're going through. This was when I was in Italy. I just taught a yoga class, hiked up a beautiful like rock formation little mountain, and I mean, this is how I was looking and how I was feeling. And at the end, I wasn't even covering my skin. My friends would see me and they'd try like put aloe on me and tend to me and use all their products from all over the world. And sometimes they'd have tears because they could see how devastating it was for me. And then this is me now. This was at my restaurant, and a friend just happened to take this picture of me. And you can see I'm glowing. So now getting to the 4 shifts. Okay, so the first one is self love, connecting to yourself and building this relationship with yourself. And what does that feel like? What does that look like? And we're going to get into that today. So, paying deep attention to yourself and tending to yourself, you know, like you would to your best friend or your parents or your grandparents or your lover. Like, do you give yourself that type of attention and tending to when you brush your hair, when you put your cream on, when you wash yourself? Like, are you having present moments with yourself in the very least? And then genuine words of gratitude to yourself. You know, what is the conversation that's going on? How are you feeling with yourself? Okay, and then I heard this and I love it, but like if we're craving so many sweet things, like a deep sweet addiction, which I've had so many times, and again, I'm not against having pleasures in this human life. I think that's why we're here, to enjoy ourselves in a bit of an 80-20 ratio. But maybe it's because something in our life isn't sweet enough. So, you know, are we pursuing the life of our dreams? Are we fulfilling every day with things that we love, connecting with friends, connecting with community, and still being in touch with our body? And if we're not, of course, we're going to crave all those sweet things because those are little pleasures that can fill those spaces that we're not filling with other active things in our life. So really knowing that symptoms are messages. I know that feels incredibly frustrating for me too, but 100%, if your body is signaling something, if you've got flu, if you've got acne, if your hair's falling out, if you're struggling with something, your body is communicating with you and it's just asking for a little bit of attention and for something to change. So self-love, some simple self-love steps that I invite you to try to just start getting connected to yourself. And in these moments, you could almost make it like a bit of a ceremonial process. So dry brushing is something super simple. You can get a nice natural dry brush from the Body Shop or on Takealot. And then you can just do a Google and see, sorry, YouTube and see, what is the best way. I think you go right side of the body first and then left side, and you kind of brush your skin all the way down to each lymph node. And that really supports your lymph nodes to flush everything out. And again, just to have a moment of connecting with your body. And you do that before you shower. It gets the dead skin cells off and just gets you feeling nice and soft, and also gets rid of cellulite. Okay, so my absolute, like, highly recommendation, if that's English, for this webinar. Anna taught me this, but a cold shower every morning. I know it sounds absolutely ridiculous, and I can't believe that I'm still doing this during, I suppose, getting into winter. But I'll tell you at the end in the morning routine how it is that I get in and the impact that it has on me. But gets you into peak state, get your dopamine nice and full. Cold shower absolutely gets your character and like your thought process into, I can do this, I can do hard things. Then a little bit of lemon water in the morning, highly recommend. Just gets everything flushing out as you sleep. Each part of your body and brain gets to detox. Again, the body is absolutely miraculous and incredible. It's working for you. So do these little things to help support your body. Supplements, I mean, there's so many, and I found all my favorite ones that have also definitely helped me with my skin, which we can share a little bit more maybe at the end. But definitely a nice probiotic, nice clean water. Make sure the pH is good. There's, I think it's called Mountain Falls and Thirsty water. You want it to be nice and clean. We're not really sure what's in tap water these days. Lamel has a really good pink sachet. They sell it at this chemical called Ovaria that really helped my skin. And then again, nice IV drips, glutathione, great for cleaning out the liver and kidneys. Sleep, definitely be getting 7 to 8 hours of sleep every night. Breath work, if this is something you're into. Nature, if you can drink your lemon water in the sun in the morning, get your circadian rhythm in action first thing in the morning. Movement, if you can, whatever that means to you, whether it's a gentle walk or some yoga or hitting the gym and doing some weight training. Do you have a gratitude practice? If you don't, I highly recommend trying to do a 21-day process. You could make it like 3 points. What was the highlight of my day? What am I grateful for? And like, what was a kind gesture that I did for a stranger or a friend today, or just something that you're grateful for. So it takes 21 days to build a habit, and then it becomes nice and automatic, and then you can move on to the next thing. So then, are you also going for therapy or coaching? This definitely also helps in the self-love arena. And again, we'll have some questions at the end. So if you have anything, jot it down and we can talk more around it. Eating for nutrition and joy. So like when you eat, not feeling guilt, not counting calories, eating a full plate. I've got a glucose monitor on at the moment, and I thought just eating protein and eating clean was good for me, but my glucose was so low and then it would spike. And now that I eat a full plate of protein, veggies, carbs, even when I had Mora's gelato yesterday, my glucose didn't spike. So again, that 80-20 ratio, but not feeling guilty when you eat. When you eat, literally being like, I love myself so much. I'm considerate of where this food comes from. I'm eating it with pleasure. Try cooking sometimes. Connect back to your food. And yeah, really the same way that you water and tend to your flowers and your plants, like eat with passion and love and gratitude for your body and everything that it does for you. And then to be true to your cyclical internal season. So something that I learned quite recently that I'm implementing is just looking at each week of the month seasonally and what it is that we can be doing through the month to support ourselves hormonally, through our periods, through our cycles. And that's something that I'll go through now. Okay, I really recommend downloading the Flow app. You can just get the free version. I really recommend getting the membership. It just tells you where you are in your cycle, what you may be feeling, what moods might be coming up for you. If you're seeing somebody, they can get the app too, and then they get messages as to how they can best support you, which is lovely. And then you can eat phase-specific foods, which really helps the entirety of the month of your cycle, helps to balance your hormones. I haven't had as bad period pains as I've had before, or acne breakouts. Don't get breast tenderness at all. I used to actually think that was completely normal, but it's apparently not. Okay, so this is just a little bit about cyclical health. If you want, I'm going to open it up in a second and you can take a picture of each one just to educate you on a little bit of what you can be eating in your menstruation phase. So that's day 1 to 5, and this is known as your winter. to the time where you really get to like be nice and quiet if you're feeling that, and to really respect how you're feeling. If you're not feeling outwards, or you don't feel like launching something or going for that business meeting, maybe, setting that date for another time in your cycle when your hormones are a little bit more balanced. So this is a time to recuperate. I always picture like a winter bear, just taking time, being quiet, letting the people in your life know, I'm going through my menstruation and I might be a bit quiet, might be a bit moody. That's completely okay. I've been doing it all the time. So these are some foods that you can eat during your menstruation to support the rest of your cycle. Okay, so you can just take a picture of that. I just jotted that down. There's a whole lot more. It's always nice to also stick this up on your fridge, and then when you go shopping, try like start getting to know a little bit of this, and yeah, I'm not going to say the next word because it might confuse things, but I was going to say seed cycling. Then our follicular phase is days 6 to 10, and this is known as our energetic spring. This is a time where we're starting to get out of that shell and we're ready to stretch and be a bit more outwards, and the hormones are starting to balance themselves out. And these are a few things that we can eat during that phase. Then our ovulation. My favorite time is when we're feeling summer and charismatic and we're ready to take on the world, confident, feeling good, feeling strong, can really show up in the gym space. And these are things that you can eat during your ovulation. Luteal phase is days 15 to 28. This is known as your autumn. This is when the hormones, again, just before menstruation, again, start dipping and stuff. And sometimes you can feel a bit icky and you don't know why. So be nice to your body, gentle with your feelings. We go through this every month, so best to get to know the cycles now and support ourselves as much as we can. And I know it seems like a lot, but even if we just start adding one or two things into each part of the phase, and not just when we're menstruating and in pain, but the whole month supports how you are during your menstruation. Okay, so these are just a few nice messages that some clients and friends left me. So meet Tanya. So Tanya came to me. She was completely overdriven, overworked in her stress phase, and thinning of hair, just feeling a little bit out of sorts. And she said, Jenna helped me to rebalance my life. Her unwavering support and broad knowledge guided me to have happy, balanced hormones, better sleep, thicker hair, and I feel so confident in my skin. So again, just a few little daily changes can absolutely help you to reset your life, recalibrate, and just remember whatever it is that you're going through, if you're going through something, it's going to be fine. And this is your body asking for a little bit of extra love and attention. So the next shift is one of my favorites. Sometimes people think I'm bizarre, but the power of saying no. Okay, so the power of saying no gives you the control that you're after. That idea of getting comfortable with being uncomfortable. And that's also something that Wim Hof said, we're too comfortable. And that's why we struggle with weight, why we struggle with like showing up in life, because we've just become too sensitive maybe. So having that cold shower in the morning, going for that ice bath, doing breath work, showing up in ways that we support and love ourselves, really helps us. So get empowered with everyday small decisions, like what you eat, what you put on your skin, reading the back of labels really helps to make bigger decisions easier. We get comfortable with being uncomfortable. We do not know how something is impacting us if we haven't taken a break from it and reintroduced it again. So I cut out coffee before the last webinar, which I think was maybe 2 weeks ago. So I'd stopped for 3 weeks, had a really busy day yesterday, had a quick Nespresso in the morning. So that was 3 weeks without a coffee, immediate headache. I couldn't believe it. I was like, I don't even feel like a coffee today, because I remembered now, well, not even remembered, but because I had cut it out for that long, I got the opportunity to see how it picked me up and dropped me like a hot cake. So there's other alternatives. I'm not saying don't have something enjoyable in the morning to have that emotional experience of a coffee, like a yerba mate or matcha or mesquite or decaf. But yeah, I'd say also if you're trying to get everything sorted in your body and you're trying to balance things out, cutting out stimulants, at least if you can halve them or cut them out for a little while, will really assist in your healing. So again, we don't know how something's impacting us if we haven't cut it out for a minimum, I'd say, of like 2 weeks. We're going to think that the sugar doesn't give us depression and doesn't give us acne and isn't making us pick up weight. But how do we know if we've been doing it for 30 or 40 or 50 or 60 years? How do we know the dairy isn't blocking up our sinuses if we've been having it forever? So again, cutting things out, and gluten, table sugar, and also it feels good. So saying no feels empowering. And it also helps then when you reintroduce it and you feel a bit of a crash and you're like, actually, that thing makes me feel a little bit bad. So, you know, then you recognize how it's impacting you. Okay, so it showed me where I was reaching. Um, you know, I always say, like, if you're craving something, it does have something to teach you. So, you know, observing that reach for the sweet stuff, for whatever your thing may be, coffee, sugar, vaping, and yeah, have fun saying no. Because I always say to my friends that smoke or vape, I'm like, every third time you want it, say no, and then the no's start to get stronger and stronger, and then it helps you to get more empowered in other areas of your life, in your work relationships and your personal relationships. Okay, this is one of my favorites. All my clients are my favorites, but Peter has been in my life for about 8 years. I can't believe it. Um, so meet Peter. He wrote a whole long, beautiful thing for me. I thought it'd be too much to share, so I just kept this part. I'm in the best shape of my life. Jenna keeps me in check. I think Peter's over 70 right now, but he's looking fabulous. He feels fabulous, and this is just from integrating the power of saying no and movement and yoga and just, you know, some extra little tips or extra little tools in the toolbox of how to live every day. Okay, so this is also something that I learned when I was in Bali. And as much as that time was quite extreme in terms of cutting out most processed foods and most things, I definitely learned that everything that we've gone through in our lives and hereditary or from our parents and their parents, but especially in our lives, you know, free radicals, the contraception pill, whatever medications we've taken, whatever antibiotics we've taken, whether we like it or not, definitely has a counter impact on us and sometimes leaves heavy metal residue in our body. And so the best thing that we can do every now and then is a little gentle detox. It doesn't always have to be the master detox, but sometimes you can have mono fruit days, or just juicing days, or just smoothie days, um, just to help to clean out the body. So a nice way to do this, I'll go through it in a little bit. But also we've got this idea that we always need to add things in. So when your skin plays up or you've picked up some weight, we're like, I don't want to change anything, so I'm going to add in that medication. But sometimes before we add in that medication, we can think about what is it that I can remove and see if that's impacting me. And again, it's not going to be a quick fix, unfortunately, but also fortunately, during the time that we get a little bit uncomfortable, we get to access that relationship with ourselves again, and we get to connect back to ourselves again, which is always a beautiful gift. So simplify. So some days maybe, you know, especially in summer, but I'm sure there's some great fruit now, you know, just papaya days, pawpaw days, or just mango days, or just watermelon days, or just fruit days. And again, it doesn't have to be too extreme. Also important how you go in and out of a fast. This is definitely a whole big topic that you could chat to me about. A nice detox, the master detox is mostly about Concord grape juice, which is just by chance Shabbos wine from Spa. So it's organic, it's nice and clean, and it's grape juice because grape juice is great at pulling out toxins from the organs. All that heavy metal residue gets to lift and remove out the body. And then there's a detox pudding, which really helps the body to remove that, which is the pudding is made with activated charcoal, psyllium husk, bentonite clay, and it's these three ingredients because they're great at helping to remove all the toxins that you've worked so hard during a fast to get out and then release that through the body. So again, when you're breaking out and you're going through a little bit of swelling and your lymphs are overworking, you really want to help your body to clear that out, which is why we sometimes do a detox. I'm definitely being called to do one soon. I haven't done one for a while. And again, how you go in and out of a fast is really important. So you want to gently start to remove the caffeine and the alcohol and the tobacco and the animal products and the pastas and all the processed stuff, then get to some nice soft things like salads and smoothies and fruits, and then go into a bit of juicing if that's where you're going. And then you want to exit for a day or to 3 days, exiting the same way. And it's quite hard because when we have food again or something salty, we go into this like zombie zone of kind of wanting to shove our faces with everything, and that could be quite hard on the body. So again, we're not striving for perfection, we're just striving for consistency. Okay, so this is my good German friend Francisca, and we did some of this together. So we did some nice deep cleanses. I went with her to some colonics, and she said Jenna's an intuitive coach. She joined me for most of my colonics and supported me through weekly cleanses. Her light-hearted laughter and playfulness assists wonderfully during challenging times, as you may experience when detoxing and cleansing the body of impurities. That was very sweet and was a great journey, and love supporting people in this way. And it's definitely assisted me and continues to be one of my great tools in my toolbox when I'm going through something. Okay, and then the fourth shift that really helped me was community and is community and mentorship. So the power of being alongside other like-minded humans really supercharges your ability to heal. So I know sometimes with the way that I like to heal, I felt incredibly alone, and sometimes that left me kind of doubting this deep intuition that I had that there was a way to heal naturally without the contraception and without Reaccutane. And it was being in groups like this that really helped me to tap into this divine intelligence of my own intuition and my own body, that I could do this and I could do it in a loving way. And not to say that I'm opposed or against Western medicine, but it's just not always necessary. All right. So, friends from the courses and teachers that I've made who continue to support and hold space for me. Some of these people are still, most of them are in my life and good friends of mine, and they continue to support me in so many ways that, like, even courses that I did 10 years ago, I'm so grateful that I did them and traveled to the ends of the earth, not just for the time that I was there, but because of the friendships that I gained from being there and the support that they offer me. I could never have done what I did on my own without the support of a group facilitation. It definitely would have taken me a whole lot longer to what I did in a much shorter time frame due to these trainings. Okay, so these are some of the times with all these wonderful women. This was in Bali. Okay, so today I promised that you're going to create an incredible relationship with your body and know exactly what you need to look and feel your best. And what is it that you need to win? Okay, so those are the four shifts. The self-love, so really feeling congruent in yourself and really tending to yourself with love and nurture. The power of saying no. The master detox, so doing some cleanses, and then your community and mentorship and your guides and friends alongside you. And as I promised, my incredible step-by-step morning routine. I know it seems so simple, but I also sometimes don't feel like the cold shower in the morning, but I do it. I do it every day. And I swear, again, just as I said in my last webinar, the reason why I'm here and I'm talking from this place of knowing and showing up is because of that cold shower that I had this morning. Of course, I'd still be here doing it, but it definitely adds a different sort of quality to me in my life. So a moment in bed before rushing up. So just a moment before you switch your phone off, before you focus on somebody next to you, like a little moment with yourself, happy to wake up, happy that you got a good night's sleep. And even if you didn't, just a moment of love for yourself, connection to yourself. And again, if this is a challenging thing for you to access, I'm here for you. A minimum of 7 to 8 hours of sleep. I can't believe how little sleep I was getting before. And again, we can be like, oh, I don't need more than 5, 6 hours of sleep. I know for myself personally, I definitely feel far better when I get 7 to 8 hours of sleep. And although I usually only manage to get 6.5 just because I'm in bed longer and don't sleep, can't stay asleep that long, I definitely can feel how much better I feel when I manage to get 7 to 8 hours of sleep. And that just means starting to close the day off a little bit earlier and eating at a time like 5 or 5:30. Okay, so the peak state cold shower. I like to take my face wash. I put the shower on cold. I go stand in the shower and I'm like, oh my God, what am I doing? I'm crazy. I'm already feeling cold, got goosebumps everywhere, holding myself shaking. I breathe and I bring in that quality of breath to calm the body. And then I take my face wash, rub it together, put it on my face. And I first start with the cold water on my face. Once I've got the cold water on my face, cold water is also incredibly anti-aging. I then start to dip a shoulder at each time. And then by that point, I manage to get my back of my neck and my back in the water. And then I completely go through a nice reset, try stay in for like 3 minutes, journal this process or get back to me if you manage to get this in. And even if it's just starting with your face or starting on lukewarm, again, just getting into that state of being a little bit comfortable, being uncomfortable will really help you to transform into the other shifts and the other places in your life, along with just feeling really energized and lifting up your dopamine. The hot water lemon ritual in the morning. And again, just like that, imagine like making Chinese tea in China or Japan, where there's this ritual of stirring with love and squeezing the lemon with love. Of course, sometimes you're going to be rushed, but knowing how beneficial this is for you and knowing like if you wake up that little bit earlier, this part of your morning won't be so rushed. Okay, so this is when we're not going through the cleanses, but I've definitely learned as a woman, especially in my birthing years, I don't like to fast at all. It's really hard on our hormones. Some people say at different times in our cycle we can fast, but I'm just tried everything, and I definitely feel like having protein as soon as I can in the morning. I quickly, well, not quickly, but once I've got everything going in the kitchen and the hot water, lemon, and I put the eggs to boil, and I just make 2 or 3 boiled eggs. I eat 2, I keep another one with me. Really eat um, if you can in the morning, and protein really helps in the way of not getting the glucose up immediately. And from then you can eat what you want. Movement, whether it's walking, a little bit of cats and cow, a little stretch in your room, whatever it may be. It doesn't have to be a full hour, even 10 minutes, absolutely life changing. So I went from this girl, again, this was now in Bali. A friend was taking a picture of me, found this in my photos, and I can't believe I was so shy. You can see I've got some scarring and some red going on there, at a beautiful place looking over a rice field, yet wanting to hide away in a dark hole and never come out, to now feeling fabulous, empowered, and just really believing in the deep intuition of my body and the symptoms that show up as messages, and how those 4 steps, even though they seem really simple, absolutely help you to transform your life. And again, most important one is self-love, and such a simple like phrase, but so broad and expansive, and kind of relates to every area in our life. So whatever that frequency is what's going to come into our life, what's going to stay in our life, and how we're going to feel physically, how we're going to be in our health. And it's again so related to that specific point. So now you have a choice. Okay, so you can be at the point that I was, and I'm still in my life in other areas now, where you're absolutely 10 out of 10 dedicated to unlocking all of your potential. It's not 1 out of 10, not a like flaky 2.5, but I'm like 100 out of 10% ready to show up for myself and take these actions and improve my life and add some tools to the toolbox that you already have. You're coachable, you're ready to, get empowered and get some guidance to the places that you want to be and that you can be, and you're an action taker. You're going to take these steps and you're going to implement them into your day every life, and you're going to be sure about it, and you're going to see, whether it's 1 week or 3 weeks or 3 months, and you're going to see the changes, because as you bring in that energy into your life, everything else starts to change. Okay, so if you are feeling resonance to that, I have a link over here where you can book a call with me to take this chat further. Yeah, so grateful to share this information with you. Thank you for being here. I can't wait to hear some of your feedback and your questions to have a bit more of a two-way conversation.
Amazing. Thank you so much. So yes, the form is jenna.relatingacademy.com. So you'll complete a form and then you'll book in a call. Jen, I have a couple questions if you wouldn't mind me asking it. When you were talking about the Concord grape juice, how do you, like, how much of it do you drink and how long do you drink that for? Can you share a little bit more about that?
Okay, so it's quite an advanced fast. It's definitely something that I'd like to take people through together rather than on their own. But
Mm-hmm.
at that point I was doing this intermittent fasting. So at that point I was doing it from 12, whatever time I'd stop fasting, from like 11, 12 noon time till about 6 o'clock in the evening, and then I'd have water the whole evening, and then the little pudding in the morning to get everything out. But I'd say now, you can have, just as when I tell people to eat more fruit, like have as much as you feel like it. It's almost just so much liquid. It's just helping your body to remove all those heavy metals and all the toxins. So I'd say, go into that phase that I was talking about by releasing all the processed foods and the stimulants and the coffee and the meats and stuff. And then start with like a few salad days, 1 or 2 fruit days, and then go to the, let's say, 2 or 3 days just of the Concord grape juice and of that pudding. And the pudding is quite interesting because you'd expect it to taste really bad, but when you put it with a little bit of the Concord grape juice and you stir it up, it kind of swells a little bit, and you want to have it straight away so that it doesn't get too thick and hard to eat. You put a little bit of honey, maybe even a little bit of cinnamon. It starts to feel like a meal. But the greatest thing that it teaches you is we don't actually need to be eating as much as we need to be. But again, if this is coming from a place of self-love, we're not wanting to be starved. But sometimes it is nice to feel a bit empty. Sometimes it is nice not to be in the phase that we're in all the time of like, what's the next meal going to be? Just to sit back and allow the body to go into a place of healing and cleansing and just enjoying each, once you aren't eating so much, each sip of that Concord grape juice is like absolutely divine. And it's just so happens that it's sweet. So you think that you're going to like pick up all this weight or that it's going to be bad for you, but it's not. And again, it's not forever. It's just like a little reset to help cleanse the body. But then that also teaches you how to integrate afterwards in your life, where you start to recognize when you're really hungry or when you're eating from an emotional place. It also helps you to release some of the things that you released just before going into the fast. So it just really helps to, get a new relationship with all the things that you may have not really felt towards or completely understood before fasting, if that helps. So there's no limits. If people do like intermittent fasting, they can have it a little bit after waking. But I find now personally, if I don't get something in me, by like 9-10 in the morning, I start to feel a little bit of a crash. So it's limitless. I remember when I was in Bali, I was like, how can I be eating this many fruit, or how can I be having this much juice? And my coach was like, have as much as you feel. Like, it's completely fine, because we're still going to this like lack mentality of like, no, I need more, even though you don't need more, even though you most probably don't even need it at all, or need this much food. You go through that process, and that's also what's beautiful. Is like the first day or two are quite challenging. Day 3, you just get into this like amazing flow and clarity. And I think that's also why in some cultures there's fasts. It just resets everything and gets divine clarity. Like, if there's anything that I used to struggle to get clarity on, I just like cut back on food a little bit, and all the answers would come to me. So many benefits to it.
I love that so much. Thank you. Does anyone here have any questions as we wrap up? You might have questions afterwards, so you can always reach out afterwards. But Ash, do you have any questions that you'd like to specifically ask about like your situations, or yeah, we're here.
I'd also love to add a bit more for Ash's space, but I'm going to let you speak first.
Thank you. That was interesting. I also, I really needed this because I guess I'm also just I've got my own business, so I'm also, kind of feeling that I'm just like often eating on the go, or like, eating when I need to. But I have a similar-ish routine in the morning, and I'm not afraid of cold water. So I'm very excited to try all those things that you mentioned, which is great. I also, in the mornings, I'm someone who I cannot not eat, because I'm, everyone's like, oh, I haven't eaten and it's 11 o'clock. Like, I also crash at like 9 or 10 o'clock. So for me, I often make like 2 boiled eggs or 3 boiled eggs, and also keep one for later, which is funny. Interesting about the grape juice. What's it? Not cordial, the grape juice. I've never heard of it before, so that's also something that I'd like to test out. And I also can feel that my body needs, I've never actually done a juice cleanse or anything, but I can totally understand how I can just feel my body needs some sort of like shift or like reset, and I'm willing to put the effort in for that. So it'd be interesting to hear a bit more about how carefully to go into something like that and how to come out of it. My only fear is that, like I said, I'm like, when I'm working, breakfast is not the issue. I have like literally 1 coffee a day. I don't drink any sugar or eat any sugar, really. So that's already a good step. But I'm, if I'm like driving around and I pass a store, I kind of just like, I don't eat fast food necessarily, but I'll grab a wrap from downstairs, and I genuinely generally eat quite fast, which I'm trying to like slow down and be present with what I'm doing and what I'm eating and how I'm feeling. But I guess it's just like like you said in your presentation, like it's just about a bit of a choice, and like having to, okay, cool, I'm choosing to make a different effort towards better cleanse and a better like mentality when it comes to those things during the day. But one other thing I wanted to say was I think I haven't actually done it yet because I've been crazy with the shoot that we just did, but I think it's important. When I spoke to this lady like last year, October, she was like, just get your bloods done so that you can understand what supplements you need. So you can understand exactly what your body is actually lacking, instead of just going to the store and like buying what you think. I think once I have those results, okay, you need more iron, or okay, you need more of this, then maybe it would be nice if you could possibly share which supplements you find worked for you, especially with the skin thing at the moment. I mean, it's bad. It's not terrible, but it's like yeah, I've just never experienced it before. So I think for me, I'm a bit of a fidgeter. When I'm working, I can feel myself like touching and like, I'm like, I'm not necessarily gonna like hack my skin, but I can feel that like if I've got something there, I kind of fixate on it, um, which is irritating, and then it often turns into being worse. So um, trying to like keep my hands away from my face, and then also trying to figure out how to obviously help it, because like you said, there's heavy metals that obviously my body is working. My body's always been my friend. I've always felt like I've understood my body, but I've just felt so disconnected from it from the last 2 years. Um, and I just need to make that change. So I'm glad I've done what I've needed to do. But your body after the pill is kind of just like, you can feel everything's trying to figure itself out. So I just need to listen to it, and then obviously also take parts of your advice that I thought really were what I need to do, and then take it from there. Yeah.
Ash, I'm so proud of you. And the body does take a little bit of time to collaborate, but there's just some
Mm,
gentle steps you can take to better support. But I'd say like the master detox I write in here mostly just to like educate people that especially when our hormones are trying to like normalize after the pull. For me, I imagine it like sticking a memory card into a computer and then we remove
mm,
it and the body's like it has to take quite a lot of time to different for everybody, but it takes time for that to
mm,
reset. I didn't get the opportunity after I went off the pill quite a long time ago and before I was as aware as I am now, but there's definitely some steps I think that we could take for future people that go off it, um to assist their body through that process as they go off. But I think the beautiful thing that I'm hearing, which is so wonderful, is this reconnecting back to self, and the fact that you had this feeling and you went to go speak to a nutritionist, and that she said, get off the pill and get back to connecting, get back into this connection with your body. And now you're here, and as much as it's hard looking back at times that we weren't connected to our body, I guess this is a part of the
mm,
relationship to self. And I think a big part of the self-love part is like, you know now when we socialize or when we go to work or whatever it is that we're doing, we've got this feeling on our face, do we know that we can show up in the same way and we're as lovable, as frustrating as it is? Because it's not going to be forever. Gosh, it might just be like another week or another month. And
mm,
again, there are little steps, there's little supplements. I'd say like there's a lot of supplements that I could recommend that you take, but again, it's the process of definitely removing some stuff. It sounds like you're eating pretty well, but again, is there like and this is something that maybe we could speak about another time. But it's also when I talk about the self love part, it's like, is there anything that we're ignoring in our life that's causing a bit of inflammation in the body, an emotional situation that's maybe playing out, or a pattern that we're not recognizing? And I suppose the beautiful part about waking up or getting back into connection with your body is if there is anything, you'll hopefully notice it and make a few changes. And then again, that word that I love lately, which is congruency, like you start to be absolutely congruent in like the words that you speak with the people that you're with every day,
mm,
aligned, high vibration, um, you know, and again, it doesn't have to be OCD, but some of the products that you use in your home and the things that you wash your clothes with, like looking on the back of the things that you buy, are there lots of words of things that you don't understand? And again, it's normal if there is, but can we start to pay attention to like maybe Googling what one of those things are, and seeing what we're putting in
mm,
our body? And if we're feeling a bit misaligned with a friend or a family member, like can we call them and sort that out? Because if we don't, it definitely causes a bit of like something in us, and then that's also going
mm.
to show up in our skin and our hormones. So again, if you're also in a place of fight and flight and survival and running your business and keeping it all together and that's going to lift your cortisol and also going to irritate the skin. So it's definitely like a culmination of so many
Yeah.
aspects. Where it's like I really like to think of this journey and this life as like body and mind and soul, and how are they individually, and how are they in flow with one another.
Mm,
Because for me, that's when there's going to be lots of little different like landing points for you where you're like, aha, like I get it now. When there's that congruency, and of course hopefully there's so many moments of those, and it's of course normal not to always be in them 100%, then you come back, you're like, that thing, you get that boundary, and you get that from the power of saying no. Like, that doesn't relate, sorry, I love you, but bye. Or like, that thing, I'm not going to eat that gluten now, or whatever, because it gives me inflammation and I get a breakout. Or I'm going to change my pillowcase every now and then. Or, you know, I'm going to let my dog sleep in my room, but maybe not on my bed all the time, or whatever it may be.
Yeah.
Just like little changes and little bits of awareness into different areas of life. So again, I think there's so many parts that like can be at play when something's showing up in our body, and that's why it's, you know, we all have to start somewhere. But again, it sounds like your eating's right, you know, you're an entrepreneur, you got your business, you show up well, but again, like, where can you love yourself a bit more, and where can you nurture yourself a bit more, and the relationships in your life and whatever really feeds you. And so like also looking at that, then looking at the food and the cleanse, and then I can send you some of the supplements that have really helped me. And
Thank you.
And yeah, and then something like a colonic is really good now and then, just to, it's not the most pleasant, but just to clean out the colon, get everything moving and grooving. In an IV drip, something like glutathione is absolutely fabulous at helping the skin and cleaning the liver and kidney specifically. Like when I had that, I started having that in my drips, it was a really good game changer in the process of all that we've spoken about here. And then, you know, using nice low.
You do that at the IV drip place? Is that the IV
place? I'm currently seeking a new place. I'm trying one on Friday above my gym in Sea Point, above BUC. And I also think it's quite nice, you know, to go for blood, seeing what's going on in your body. The hard thing about bloods is that they don't really show anything until something's drastic, you know, like they're always like, oh, everything's fine. True. But the thing is, we can feel something, or our skin's showing something. So just good to pay attention. And I'm sure there are bloods that you can do specifically to see if there's any vitamins that you maybe shouldn't be having, more over than the ones that you should be having, if them are reading too low and too drastic. But yeah, that definitely helps. And I'm here for you if you want to reach out.
Great, thank you. Yeah, we'll be in touch. I think just lastly from my side, I think it's inconsistency of exercise, just not having enough time or energy at the end of the day. And that's also really playing on my mental state, and I think also my body is just like craving it, but I just don't have the time, and I'm feeling so guilty because I just don't make that time for myself, and I need to change that. Yeah.
I recently thought was the idea, if I can just interject here, the idea of microdosing exercise. So if we do get into like that phase where we're super busy with business, like where can you find like 5, 10, 15 minutes a day? And then like just start with like the little bits, and yes, that will grow and that phase will change, but just so that you start to like move like that energy within you and remove some of that guilt, because that guilt is also going to like, you know, make it worse, you know, like all those like stagnant feelings and like how you're feeling about your skin and yourself in general. Like, yeah, if you could just do like 5 or 10 minutes a day, then that's going to be way better than nothing, you know.
Yeah, I think also because my work is very laborious, and I'm running around the whole day of lifting things. Like at least I'm moving, which is good. I'm not like sitting at my desk like a sloppy potato. But it's just not the time. You're not actually focusing on yourself, or like having a moment where you're doing like 10 minutes of yoga or something, you know. It's because I'm moving so much, I get back and I'm just exhausted. And I also just moved house 3 times. So I've just been so busy, and I've just been lacking myself. Yeah. So yeah, thank you. I'm gonna take all of those things down.
Thank you so much for sharing and for asking. And yeah.
Thank you. This has been great. I needed it so badly. Thank you.
Amazing. Amazing. Jenna, thank you so much for sharing all your wisdom, and also for like just going through the journey that you went through. And I know like it wasn't easy, and like there were so many times where you're like, is this going to last forever? But it really doesn't. And you know, on the other side of going through that whole journey, you get to lead the way and shine this torch and be this lighthouse for others. And I absolutely adore that about you. So thank you so much. Have a beautiful evening. And yeah, we'll chat soon. Bye for now.
Thank you.